opportunity. I'm not a member of the committee, but I have a real interest and I'm very concerned about how this will impact my county of Kerry that I'm representing, and especially around Killarney, which is, I call, headquarters of tourism in Ireland, and it's going to impact. We have hundreds of people and have been operating Airbnbs for a long time, and I'm very concerned what if they have to go out of business or if they're forced out of business. I'm very concerned for their well-being mentally, financially, and every other way. Because I was brought up in a house, political house, where it was it was made very clear to me that if we want to help one person or one side of the community, that you do not adversely impact on the other side or the other person. In other words, you can't put someone up by putting another person down. And this to me is being brought forward because of the lack of housing and long-term lets to be had around the country and in Kerry and the other 25 countries that we have in the Republic of Ireland. And I suppose the first question that I have, there are many people at this in Kerry and around Killarney for more than 20 years. And no, maybe they don't have official planning, but they're at it for more than 7 years. And my question is, do these people have planning by default, the fact that they're at it for more than 7 years? So maybe somebody would answer me that.
Thank you, Deputy Healy-Rae. So my understanding, and again, this is a policy matter for the Department of Housing, but somebody can't achieve planning by default. I think, as I understand, planning has to be achieved by an application to your local planning authority, and they have to approve it. So there won't be, I suppose, a default mechanism in place for people who have been operating in the system for a long time.
Well, it's very clear to me that these people have been doing this for many years, and they shouldn't have to apply for planning, and that's my contention. That's their contention, and this will be tested in whatever court it takes to decide the matter, because they feel they're being hard done by. Their contribution to the local economy is massive, and when you consider for a time in Kerry that 36% of our beds in hotels was taken up by massive. And when you consider for a time in Kerry that 36% of our beds in hotels was taken up by refugees and asylum seekers, a lot of them are still used in that field, not the same amount, I will admit. But we'll seriously damage our tourism product in the county of Kerry, and especially around Killarney, and around, at the same time we're affecting the Ring of Kerry and all the tourism spots if we don't have the footfall that emanates from these Airbnbs and so forth. Publicans, restaurants, boatmen, ponymen, Jarvis, the whole lot, they will all be impacted in adversely. I'm seriously concerned about that. I suppose you're not the ones to ask about this, but the government should seriously consider the implications that this will have all around the county of Kerry. I mean, you're saying there that they can't have planning by default. Well, I know, and anyone that's in politics for a long time knows that if you're at something for more than 7 years, you can't be touched, you can't be taken to court, or you can't be made do anything. So I'm asking you to seriously consider what I'm saying, because, and you see, the answer, you're talking about the enforcement and the local authorities, and that they will manage this. The local authorities are stretched to their limit to do what they're doing. And I don't think there will be any more officers delegated to them. And I would, if there was to be extra personnel, I would rather see them building more houses. I'm asking for that for the last number of days here. Let the local authority build more houses. And there's empty houses around the place, and so many of them. Would the government and the department look at these as an option to secure long-term leases? And the other thing that I say to you, if you think that putting these people out of business and that he'll get them to rent long-term to other tenants, and that they wouldn't be able to get them out when they want to get them out and all this, and maybe not get paid when they should be paying, and all the other adverse things. If you think that that's going to happen and that you're going to achieve houses for long-term lease, I think you need to look at that again. And I'm wondering, have you any comment to make about that?
Thank you very much, Deputy Healy-Rae. So, on your first comments about the contracted state accommodation in hotels in Kerry. So at its height in May 2023, 11% of hotel beds in Kerry were contracted to the state for accommodation provision for humanitarian purposes. That reduced the following year to 9%, and it's now at 5%. In terms of the short-term letting and other hotel capacity in Kerry, so the number of short-term letting beds in entire houses and apartments in Kerry is 16,600. And at a maximum, they're occupied 27% of the time when we look at the 2024 data. So that's, under occupancy there of about 70% in those properties. And in some cases, in January it was 3%, February 5%. If we go then to the further end of the year, November and December, the occupancy rates were just 5% and 6%. So those properties were vacant then for quite a length of time throughout the year. If we look at the number of hotel accommodations, then overall the bed spaces in Kerry, there's 38,650. And these are really important in terms of that accommodation provision to support what is a very vibrant tourist industry in Kerry. And we know that of those, the 16,000 would have been used 27% of the time, but the hotel accommodation is generally available all of the time. So it's in terms of that, it's a better supply element. And of course there.
I'm afraid, I'm so sorry, Deputy Healy-Rae, but
I just have to say, Chairman, I think to differ seriously with the figures that are actually mentioned here, that the most of the time that we had only 9% of our hotels involved with refugees and asylum seekers. That's totally incorrect. The figure was 36%. And I don't know where we got your figures. I know someone gave them to, but that's not what was reality down in Kerry at the time when the Ukraine started coming there and the other asylum seekers.
I have to bring it to you all. We'd nearly 70%. 7-0. It's shocking. But I appreciate your remarks, and you're very welcome here today.